Alright guys, here is my non-veteran NightBlade build. Okay, so I am a wood elf with 147 champion points. We're going to start off with my character sheet here. Stam recovery 1897. That's what my build runs off pretty much, and how I play with my playstyle. Weapon damage is 1629, and that goes up to right under 2000 when I use rally. Maximum health 30k, max stam 16k, magicka same. Your health goes up as you level as well. So if you're a lower level than I am, I'm a level 46. You probably have a lower health pool. Buttes. I put one into health on accident. I recommend putting them all into stamina, at least until you get to veteran levels, and then you can adjust these to even out your health. I run the warrior boon, which increases your weapon damage, and I am a werewolf. The reason I went werewolf is for the 15% stamina regeneration. You do not need to be in werewolf form for this to take effect. Alright, we'll go over my gear real fast. Alright, so I'm running two different sets. I'm running two 5-pieces. One would be the Hunding's Rage set, which is a 5-piece set, which you get 360 weapon crit for 2 and 4 pieces. You get 506 stamina for 3 pieces, and then you get an extra 169 weapon damage. Now that scales off the level of the gear. So if I look at my level 40 hunting set, I get 182 weapon damage. So I'm not really sure which I'm getting, but either way you're getting extra weapon damage. And then the other set I'm running would be the Shadow Walker set, which gives you weapon damage for 2 pieces, max stam for 3, stam recovery for 4, and you get, when you go invisible, you restore 525 health and stamina every second. That's why you're hidden and not moving. So for a NightBlade, you can pop your Dark Cloak and stand still, and you'll get this effect. And something to also mention in this is that 5-piece sets are what you want to focus on, because the 4-piece sets, none of those sets like 2-piece, 3-piece, 4-piece, none of those actually work in non-veteran PvP. The only bonus you get out of a set is the 5-piece full set, the bonus. That's the only piece you're going to get that works in a non-veteran campaign. Now that changes when you hit V1, then you actually start getting all the stats. But in non-veteran, they try to equal out the PvP, so you need to be running a 5-piece set in order to get a bonus. And then on my gear, I won't go over what I'm running here. I'm running increased armor and spell pen on my sword. I get a 14% bonus, and reduce target's armor by 690 for 5 seconds on my enchantment. I like to go with all armor pen for the most part when you're running in 2-hand. You just hit a little bit harder. My bow, no matter what build you ever go with in the future, I always put poison damage on your bow, and then spell critical, or weapon and spell crit as well, because bows can hit pretty hard. Doesn't matter your build, this you'll run for every build. And then for the most part on each piece of gear for armor, I run the increase Mundo Stone effect, so that affects my warrior boon that I run. So I get an increase in my weapon damage by 5.5% per piece I run. I don't have it on every piece, but for the most part, it's on most of them. Okay, so that is my gear. We will go over my champion points real fast. A lot of you guys probably don't have these yet, but you will come across them once you, and you get them every 400,000 experience. And every day or every 24 hours, you also get an enlightened period where you gain like double experience. When that happens, make sure that you just quickly farm it out, because you'll gain a quick champion point, and you'll keep increasing them. They're very, very nice. Alright, so we'll start with the tower first. I put 15 points into Warlord, which reduces the stamina cost of spells and abilities by 5.1%. You don't get huge returns on these when you put points into them, but obviously each point helps. So that extra 5% could, make a difference in one or two abilities. When you put 10 points into here, you also get Ensnare. Grants a 33% chance to reduce an enemy's movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds at any time hitting them with a bash. So this could benefit you if you're running sword and shield, or even playing defense and you bash them real quick. You have that opportunity to decrease their movement speed. Alright, and so the thief. I'm running 15 points into Mooncliffe. Increase your stamina recovery by 6.6%. I'd put more points into this, but the return, the more points you put into a stat here, the return gets less and less. So it started out at 0.5, and then now, as you can see, it's 0.3. So I try to spread them out evenly, so I get more benefit off a lot of different areas in this tree line here. Tumbling, I put 18 points into this. Reduce the stamina cost of your roll dodge and break free by 6.1%. This is huge because I roll dodge all the time, so it's a lifesaver. And then under the mage, the ritual, I put all my points under the same tree because it all goes towards my weapon damage essentially. So we've got 15 points under the mighty, which increases your physical damage by 6.6%. And we also have 17 points into precise strikes, increased damage and healing dealt by weapon crits by 11.1%. So that's a good return. And then we have increased the amount of armor your physical attacks ignore by 6.6%. So again, armor pen. And then what's really good about the ritual tree is if you put 30 points into it, you get increased your weapon crit by 12%. You also get the opportunist at 10 points, which is increase the damage of your next physical attack by 15% after you interrupt a target, which is extremely nice. So if you see somebody hard casting something and you bash them, you gain a 15% damage buff on your next attack. Alright, for the warrior, I did 15 points into medium armor. This is an extremely small return, but increases your armor by 4.5% when a medium armor set of 5 or more pieces is equipped. And I run all medium. And then 18 points on Hardy reduces poison, disease, and magic damage dealt to you by 7.5%. Most NightBlades run poison injection or, magic coming from a magic DK or a sorcerer. It's just going to reduce their damage, so. And then Elemental Defender, reduce flame, frost, and shock damage dealt to you by 6.6%. The reason I went with this is because the most difficult thing to face is a sorcerer as a NightBlade, and having that reduction in their damage helps you out a lot. Alright, so that was my champion points. We'll actually drop these in here real quick while we're in the video. Alright. And now we will cover my skills. Okay, on my first bar here, this is my two-hand bar. This is my main damage bar. I run Shadow or Surprise Attack. This can be found under the Shadow Tree. It's the second ability down. The reason I run this is because it's an instacast, and it does decent damage, 3,915, and that'll go up as I, rank it up again. But if I also go stealth, and I hit them from stealth with surprise attack, it'll stun them or set them off balance for 4 seconds. And then enemies that are attacked from stealth or invisibility are also affected with major fracture, and it reduces their armor by 4,000 for 14 seconds. So if you can initiate with this, and then maybe hit them with a wrecking blow or a roll dodge into a crit rush, it's going to hit really, really hard. And then my second ability is Critical Rush. This is found under the two-hand skill line. It's the second ability down. The reason I use Critical Rush is because the farther away they are from me, the more damage I'm going to do. So it's it scales up on distance traveled, and it always critical hits. The third ability would be Rally. Now this is also found on your two-hand bar. It is the fifth ability down. And the reason I run this is because NightBlades have no heal and no sustain really, so this gives you that heal. You get a 508 heal every 2 seconds and an additional 786 when the effect ends. The final heal is increased in the proportion to the length of time Rally has been active. So higher levels on my V14, this hits me for like 13k. So it's really nice heal, and you get weapon damage increase by 20%. So it's a must-have as a Nightblade. That's why I think two-hand is the best weapon to run as a Nightblade until you get Vigor, but that won't be till later veteran levels. Alright, next ability would be Wrecking Blow. This is also a two-hand bar or ability. This is the third ability. The hit with 21,000 damage, but then it also does 3,300 damage over the next 10 seconds. And it'll help keep people from going stealth on you, and if their health is lower than 50%, it'll actually hit a lot harder. I've seen this hit for like 7k just on the tick for poison if they're around 20% health. And then Mark Target. This is for Nightblades for all classes, but it's really useful versus Nightblades. Basically, if I mark a target Reduces armor and spell resistance by 4,000 for 18 seconds, so you can use it on anybody. But when target is marked, or it also keeps them from going invisible, like NightBlades. They can't, stealth out of the fight. And then when a marked enemy dies, you are restored for 38% of your maximum health, which is extremely nice. Especially when you're doing like 1vx and you're fighting multiple people by yourself. And then Soul Tether. I usually run this on both bars sometimes in non-vet, just because I like to use it a lot. But this is a defense ultimate. Basically, the way I use it is I run into a group and I'll make sure they're all close together. And then ultimate, the more people that you can tether to this, the bigger your heals are going to be. But it hits for 5k. I've seen it crit for 8k, so it's a really good damage dealer. And it stuns everybody you hit for 4.5 seconds. Unless they've already CC broke it. And then affected enemies are also tethered, so it's gonna siphon 867 health to you every 1 second for 8 seconds. So that's extremely nice. The more people you get, the bigger the heal is. And that would be my abilities that I run. Passive wise, I recommend getting all the assassination and all the shadow. I just haven't gotten the skill points to do it. But the important ones that I got first was Master Assassin, increased weapon and spell damage while invisible or stealth, successful stealth attacks done for 100% longer, and then I'm going for Pressure Point, increased critical rating for each assassination ability slotted, current bonus 300. So that's really nice. I recommend getting those two for sure, but then getting them all when you get the points for them. The two I got in Shadow currently are Refreshing Shadows, increased stamina recovery by 30%, and Dark Vigor. Each Shadow ability slotted increases your max health by 3%. It's only 3% bonus, but that's still something. And then I currently do not have any in Magic or in Siphoning, but I will get increased max Magicka by 4% because I use the Siphoning ultimate, so that'll give me 4% bonus to my Magicka. Now, two-hand, get them all when you can afford them, but if you can't, definitely get heavy weapons because it'll increase. Two-handed sword deals 5% extra damage. Two-hand axes deal 756 physical damage and extra bleed, and maces ignore 20% of target's armor. I recommend running a mace for the most part, but I'm really used to my playstyle and PvE also, so I run the sword. And then Balance Blade, reduce the cost of two-hand abilities by 20%. And then Battle Rush, boost your stamina recovery by 30% for 10 seconds once you kill someone. Very, very handy. Also, get all the bow passives. This is my non-vet, so I don't have a lot of skill points yet. But on my veteran, I have all the passives unlocked for everything. Get them all when you can. But yes, I will recommend get all these if you run your bow a lot more than I do too. And I am a medium armor build, so I recommend getting all these no matter what rank you are, because these are huge. Every one of these abilities affects my playstyle. And like I said, I am a werewolf. I don't use the ultimate really, but I do have it. My assault is almost rank 6, so then I'll start running the caltrops. And then get your passives, regardless of what race you are. The passives are extremely important. Like, I'm a Wood Elf, so I get increased stamina regen while in combat by 21%. That's huge. I jump up to 2k stamina regen when I'm in combat. Increase poison and disease resistance by 750, and increase my max stam by 2%. And then Stealthy, reduce your detection radius and stealth by 2 meters, increase damage done while in stealth by 6. So I recommend always unlocking your passives once you have them available. Alright, so that was my skill breakdown, and that is my non-veteran Wood Elf NightBlade build for Daggerfall Covenant.